What is up, Remnant 2 fans? I wanted to do a video about my top 5 hardest bosses. Let me know what you think when it's over. Kicking us off at number 5 is the Corruptor. This boss was originally going to be nowhere found in my list. In fact, I never even seen this boss in all the rerolls I did for Adventure Mode. But when I created a new character to play the DLC, I found myself in Yesha once again, and this time facing this new foe. Never seen this boss, but he starts with some health shaved off already, so I took it as this is gonna be kind of easy. You're actually kind of easy? I hope? Yeah, right. What makes this boss difficult is not the boss itself, but everything else that goes on around it. You have to worry about this guy, you have to worry about jumping platforms, and getting your timing down perfectly. This boss can feel easy because when it's opened up like this, it takes a lot of damage. But it's the arena and the platforming that poses the issues. This boss can feel flat out cheap at times because one mistiming of a jump or simply not getting there in time to jump at all can have you like this, over and over. And even once I figured out what to do, shoot down these hands, this face, and then this hole, there was still so much room for things to go wrong. It required timing, surveying the area, keeping an eye on multiple things at once, and of course jumping for my life. What an annoying boss. It really felt so cheap. And because of that, it took me more than a while to take it out. But he's dead now, so yeah, take that, Corrupted. Next at number 4, and we're kind of continuing a theme here, the Corrupted Ravager. This was my first skill check in the game, and definitely a memorable one. What makes this boss so difficult is that it's so aggressive. It took more than a few tries to learn how to time my dodges, as well as manage my stamina, and getting to that point was rough because of how aggressive he is. Slashing at me one time after another, and then making me pay for it when I didn't keep him in front of me. And it kind of felt like this boss was using the minions and the other distractions strategically against me. It always felt like when I was focused on shooting one thing or dodging away from another to get some distance, that was when the boss chose to attack. It was like it knew how to read where I was going next, and that's what made it difficult. And on top of that, a whirlpool that sucks you in like this, and then whatever this thing is too. And all of it forced me to just push and get more and more distance, exhausting my stamina, and it all just became a huge stamina management skill check that felt tough in the most Souls-like way. What a boss, you guys. I knew as soon as I beat it that I had to make a how-to for my viewers because, well, some of us will definitely need it. I know I could have used it. So after Corrupted Ravager came and went, the next big skill check was none other than Nightweaver. This two-phase boss can easily be misunderstood and taken lightly. The first phase, it seems pretty straightforward: shoot and do as much damage as possible, and of course, just don't get hit. The second phase, however, mixes things up. You now enter this mansion-looking area that can feel pretty tight, and movement becomes everything. From rolling at the right times to going up and down the stairs to pick up ammo, as well as looking over the area to see where the boss is coming from next. Nightweaver will go underground, they will come back through the walls, and if you are too close, you're snatched and done. You're also tackled like this, which can be draining to your health, and if you don't have enough, yeah, you're also done. This fight quickly becomes a fight with patience and outlasting the boss by just picking and choosing the right area to be when the boss disappears and returns. Once you get into rhythm though, the job is clear and little by little you'll get it done. But getting there is really such a wild ride, and it's gonna take multiple tries unless you're lucky, but for me it took a while and it was definitely a fun fight to learn, but man, Nightweaver, yeah, definitely one of the toughest bosses in Remnant 2. Next on the list, I have Venom. Venom just had to be here for me. It took me long to beat it because of how aggressive he is. constantly chasing and stalking me around the arenas, so eventually I just used that to my advantage and played a little bit of Ring Around the Rosies, just doing my best to keep distance. But even with that strategy, things easily went wrong. Whether it was getting hit by these things or getting caught in an attack combo like this, it was very easy for everything to just go downhill. On top of all of the dodging and keeping distance, I had to hit my shots, of course, pick up ammo, and then keep the boss in front of me so I don't get hit from behind. That was pretty much a theme with a lot of bosses in Remnant 2, but for Venom, it was especially important to keep him in front of me. It was just a lot to manage, and eventually, of course, I got it done, but getting to that point took many tries, and it's the reason I just had to make a how-to on this boss as well, because I know others had to be struggling too. Venom is the perfect name for this boss because this guy definitely infects us with get good, or just flat out die trying. And finally, the number one hardest boss of Remnant 2 is Annihilation. Of course, this boss is number one. Are you kidding? The final boss of the main game, Annihilation, here at number one, and so much well deserved. The first phase was pretty easy, alright, with some good time dodges and my weapon maxed out. I was pretty much melting this boss the first phase. However, that second phase, that was a whole different story. Between this crazy looking Mind F and how hard this boss hits, the second phase is rough. Not only was it about dodging these delayed attacks, but it was about dodging them as we change between worlds. While he was in the middle of one attack, you had to be prepared to still dodge that attack when changing back to the real world. And this is all after surviving all of this. This took a hot minute to learn as far as the timing goes. I know I can't be alone when I say that delayed attacks are the worst. Your instinct tells you to roll at a certain time, and because his attack is delayed, it hasn't happened yet. So you panic and you keep rolling. Next thing you know, your timing is totally off, your stamina is gone, and then so are you. It takes a lot of time to learn all of this, along with reloading your ammo and picking up more. It just becomes a huge management boss, as with many others, but ammo and picking that up definitely adds to the challenge. There's also a third phase to this fight, so even when you think you're done with that second phase, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta do more. But the third isn't so bad. I just ran for my life and tried to survive for the time limit, and then it was over. But my gosh, this boss was insane. Definitely deserves a top spot for me, and I'm sure it does for many of you. But if it didn't get that top spot, let me know in the comment section who did. And let me know what other bosses gave you guys trouble. Remnant 2 has a ton of bosses, and the DLC included. I felt like those weren't tough enough to make this list. I wanted to focus on the top 5, and these are them. So let me know what you think, alright? Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.